Discontinued
Gravy.
gravy.
Give your
Discontinued gravy.
Goal: to simplify life and make it fun.
Because we've been there.
I mean, we're in our mid-20s.
So we've seen it all.
This is
Discontinued.
gravy. Was that like a cat or something?
No, I was trying to do like a little mini firework. You know, those little crazy ones that go.
Sure.
No?
Okay.
Hey, you made a weird sound. Actually, you did like a drum thing, but I mean...
See? You know what it is. I thought you were a cat.
I'm not good with sounds and words. I've never have been my whole life. I blame my family. I'm not going to lie to you.
So you're not good with words, and yet you have a podcast that is essentially just words.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I like talking.
Right, but talking needs words.
I'm just bad at hearing the difference in sounds and words. And I say a lot of things wrong. Like salsa and salsa.
What?
I used to think salsa, the dance, had a Z in it.
So you thought it was like salsa?
Yeah, I mean, I thought salsa, the food, and salsa, the dance, had to be different somehow.
Nope.
Yep, apparently not. I also, fun fact, had a crazy dream the other night where I was a world profound speech pathologist and I was giving a press conference somewhere. It was fun. I just said everything wrong.
That sounds very interesting. Very, very interesting, Krysta. Anyway, other than...
I'm sure...
What?
I'm sure everyone would love to hear more about it.
Oh, I'm sure. We'd love a play-by-play of the entire dream. But since we don't have time for that, Krysta, how are you?
Nick, you know what? I'm okay. I'm not as high as I usually am when we're doing our recordings, and it's not because I'm tired. It's just not.
Just look at your hand.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know. There's just something in the air right now. How about you, Nick? How are you feeling?
Well, I learned this week that I don't know what milk, basically. There's different types of milk.
Yeah.
I don't know what each milk is and or what is different about it. Like here, I'll give you the story. So my sister was here the other day and you know, she's like, oh, on your way home from work, and you pick up some whole milk. I was like, okay, that shouldn't be too hard. It's got to say whole milk on the little thingies, right? The carton.
I mean, you're not wrong. It does say it on it, but not the way that you're thinking.
So I said, I'm looking at the milk. I'm just at my local save on, and I'm just looking. I'm like, okay. So there's 0%, there's 1%, there's 2%. There's 3%. None of them say whole milk. So now that raises the question, which one is whole milk? Is it the 0% one because there's 0% of something in it, therefore it makes it whole? Is it 1%? Is it 2? I don't know. I go by the colors. We have the purple one in our home. I don't know what percentage that is.
I mean, you don't drink it, so I don't blame you.
Right. Exactly, right? So anyway, I spent like a good 5 minutes just staring at the milk, being like, what am I looking for here? I don't even know. Ended up calling my sister and be like, what the hell are you talking about?
I was going to ask, Nick. I was like, how long did you wait before calling someone?
It's, yeah, probably embarrassingly long. So anyway, called her and she's like, no, it's the 3%. It's the homogenized, whatever it's called, milk. Homo milk. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Is it homo milk? Is it whole milk? What are you trying to sell here? It's milk.
I don't think you can just call it homo milk, though. I think there's some political things around that. That's probably why they don't call it that.
Okay, fair. But my point is, if it's whole milk, put whole milk on the thing. Don't just write homogenized milk. So I learned this week that I don't know milks.
Okay, but Nick, you do baking.
I know,
you used to do it on a weekly basis of baking. Do you not have to use different types of milk for that at least?
No, they always just said milk. And I just use whatever and like I said, we have the purple one in our house. Is that 1% or 2%? I don't know.
purple one is 1%.
Right.
Pink is 2.
Okay, there you go. See? I just know the colors.
I have no idea.
I think you're right, though. But point is, colors. It's just colors. You could have just told me the color and it would have made a lot more sense.
What color was it? Blue?
No, that one was like a goldy yellow.
Okay. For some reason, I thought it was going to just be in a different section.
No, it was just the last little bay there.
So what were they using it for? They weren't drinking it.
No, it was a banana cream pie.
Okay, I was going to say, it's typically used for cooking, so.
So, here we are. Oh, and buttermilk. I know that's a thing, too. But I know buttermilk because it says buttermilk on the frickin' carton.
And you put that in your pancakes.
Not always, but if we have some left over, because my mom makes scones sometimes. So, then we have leftover, and you put some in your pancakes, and you get buttermilk pancakes. Although I don't really notice a difference between a regular milk pancake and a buttermilk pancake. And I should know I'm a pancake connoisseur.
Yeah, exactly. You've had your fair share of pancakes. You should be able to tell the difference over this, Nick. Come on.
Probably had more pancakes than a lot of the world.
I would probably say you're probably in the top 5 percentile of how many pancakes you probably have eaten in your lifetime.
Like, for real. Isn't that wild? But anyway.
You know what? You should look up the Guinness World Record.
I've long thought I think I might be close.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, what would you just have to do? Just start eating them, like, sit down and eat 200 at once? You could do it.
I do that. I do that in a year.
At least.
Like guaranteed at least 200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least. I would say closer to 3.
Yeah, maybe. That's true. You know what? You're probably right.
Maybe this sounds so excessive, but people probably don't remember.
People probably don't. I should clarify. I meal prep. I've learned this. I'm going to start saying meal prep so it's not as weird. I meal prep pancakes for the week. Mm-hmm. You make pancakes, you freeze them, you microwave them, you have pancakes every day for breakfast.
Question, why don't you toast them?
You an animal? I don't want them crispy. I'm not crisping. I'm not toasting my pancake.
But I could just imagine putting butter on that after and it just being really good.
Well, maybe. But that's not how I like. I don't want a crispy pancake. I want a soft, fluffy pancake.
I know, but after all this time, you haven't experimented a bit.
Why fix what's not broke? It's my reply to you, Krysta.
I see.
Anyway. To answer your question about how I'm doing, I'm fine.
Long story short.
Long story short, he was the wrong guy. No, I'm fine. I'm all good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's such a mood or being in a funk. Do you get that?
All the time. All the time with my career where it's at. It's all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all been there, whether it has something to do career-wise, personal life, just not being happy with, like, yourself even,
maybe
or
Mercury's
just being bored.
Retrograde.
Huh?
Maybe Mercury's just in retrograde.
Maybe. Just always blame a planet. There's usually one that's a little off. Oh, there's a full moon, is there? Ah, that must be why.
Yeah, exactly. Just blame it on the planets and you'll be okay. That's another discontinued gravy.
we lasted a full almost 9 minutes.
Yeah,
so
there you
thank
go.
you very
There
much.
you go. Thanks for what. No, I think you're right. It can be anything. Like, like you can be thrown in a funk for no matter how long. Like, let's take it on, what day is it today? It's Wednesday. Yesterday, Tuesday. I was watching my German soccer team. They took on France. It was not the greatest game in the world. But, after the loss, I was just in a little funk the whole day. It almost ruins your day when your team loses. You know what I mean?
For some people. For Nicks of the world.
Yeah, it's not fun. So anyway, I was in a bit of a funk. I was just like, oh, God, this is an kind of day.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's not like you're in a bad mood necessarily.
No.
But it's like meh. Does that make sense? Meh.
You're just meh. I'm okay.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, like, most of the time for me at least, I wake up feeling that way. There isn't one thing that I can point to in that day that I can be like, yeah, that put me in a funk.
Well, fair enough. Like I feel like that can happen, but I also understand. the fact of, just waking up and it's just not your day. It's like also those days where, you wake up and you just feel awesome and you have no idea why.
Everything is awesome.
Cool when you're part of a team.
Part of a team.
But
Thank you.
But you're right. Sometimes you can just wake up and you'll be like, today is not that day.
Yeah, today is not my day. And you know what? It's a pretty freaking awesome day, though, when you're right, Nick. When you wake up and you're like, wow, the sun is shining. I'm alive, breathing in this fresh air. We live in such a beautiful place. And I mean, yeah, maybe you need a cup of coffee first before you can feel that way. But there's the extremes, right? And I don't know if the meh or the funk feeling is on the lower end or if it's just you're riding the in between. But it's so hard because sometimes you can tell how you're getting into the funk, whether there's triggers like you said, Nick, like when your favorite team loses.
Yeah, see, like you can find the pinpoints sometimes, but and I find it usually pretty easy to find. Like, if like, you'll be able to pinpoint it, like, pretty quickly. Be like, you know what, that's right. But it's definitely, like, we've talked about it before, those days where somebody's like, you okay? And you're like, I'm fine. And they're like, something wrong? I'm like, well, no. Nothing particular.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like,
just
I
off.
don't know, something.
I'm just off. I couldn't tell you why.
I couldn't tell you. No, but it's so hard because it's one of those things that, at least for me, I can notice when I'm starting to get into a funk. And there's two funks for Krysta Funk, if anyone wanted to know.
Okay.
The one way is what I'm kind of feeling today, and it's kind of like, maybe it's not the proper word, but anxiety-y. Just like a little bit more stressed out about stuff. I'm feeling very forgetful and fidgety and just a little overwhelmed with everything that's going on. I don't have anything that's going on that should be stressing me out.
Right. No,
I'm actually having you know what? I'm kind of in the prime of my life right now. I should not be complaining.
Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, yes, I guess you would argue, this is the prime of your life, the 20-year-old living life as you are. But I mean, we're in a pandemic, so our 20s just kind of got a big slap in the face. But I think it's okay to feel that way, and I think, like, obviously more and more now, there's more awareness around that stuff. Like, it's not like it's mental health at the end of the day, but it's not like the extreme side of it. You're just feeling and that's totally normal. But like, I think it's okay to feel that way. No matter, like, some days you're not gonna have a perfect 365 days of the year.
No, not at all. And then even if you did, like, that'd be boring. You're not feeling all of your feels. And like, for the other side, we've talked about it before, like the being tired, just being blah, I'm tired. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get myself back.
Yeah, that was me last week for sure.
Right? And it's so annoying because you can see it. You're inside yourself watching this happen, and you know the things you can do to probably make yourself feel better. I'm like, you know what? I could go for a walk. I'd probably feel better. Did I go for a walk? No.
Well, for me last week it was just tiring because, like, I'm working like every morning shift imaginable right now, and I have no idea why. Like, I do enjoy them, don't get me wrong, but like, it's a lot, especially when you do stuff afterward. Like, I'm a social guy. I coach Ultimate 2 days a week. I play Ultimate 1 day a week. I'm usually hanging with a friend another day of the week. It all adds up. And, it was Monday, which is my Friday, is, like, the last day of the week. And I could just feel it. My body hurt. I was just like, Nick, nope, this is it. Your knees are done. You're dying, man. You're dying.
That's so sad when you have that moment where you're like, I'm dying. Like, you actually think that to yourself, and you're like, I can't say this out loud. Yeah. But this is how I feel right now. Yeah. I'm dying.
Yeah, no, you got to put on that brave face, and you're like, I'm good. Just, I'm dying, but I'm good.
Right? Well, if you tell someone that, if you just look at someone with a tired face being like, I'm dying, they're gonna think that, like, this is extremely terrible situation, which it might be, for all I know, for what you might be going through, and I hope it's not that bad. But when you're that tired and you're, like Nick said, your body's aching and you're feeling it. Like, yeah, you feel like you're dying a little inside.
Yeah, it's a little tough. So anyway, I got home and I had nothing planned after my work on the Monday. So I came home and had a nice 3-hour nap, which I slept. Now, here's the point, because you know how you usually, when you have a nap, like, too late, then you can't get to bed, like, afterward?
That is not me. Just kidding. That is me. I have a very easy time falling asleep, though.
Yeah.
Like, I could probably have a nap at 7 and still get to bed at 11. But if I have a nap at past 8, no, I'm not getting to bed that night.
Right. So, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I slept from, like, 6:30 till, like, 9:30.
Ooh, Nick, that was your mistake. You had a long nap.
Now, here's how tired I was. I went to sleep at 11 and slept for 10 hours.
Yeah, see, sometimes your body just needs it, right?
Like, that was like your phone battery's on like 1% and it needs that full night charge.
Yeah, and then the sad part is when you wake up the next day, you feel better, but you don't feel fully recharged because your body's still recovering.
Yeah, you're still tired, so you kind of got to take the day. I didn't, but
Yeah. Well, fun fact of what happened to me over the weekend: the house, 3 houses down, burnt down in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you sent me that snap, and I was like, well, because I looked at the snap, and she's like, sent 5 hours ago. I read this snap at like 6 in the morning, and I'm like, what the hell is she doing that late?
Yeah, so at 3 a.m., I hear like a bang, and the place next door to us is getting renovated. Or not renovated, they're building it or rebuilding it, and it's like a historian place, so they have to keep certain parts, but they leave all of their crap out. I thought that they were just getting robbed.
Right.
And fair. I was like, I don't want to be involved. You know,
Yep.
like, I don't want to know.
Yep.
But, of course, I'm curious, and I don't want them robbing my car. So I hear, like, another bang. So, like, I peek my nose out our little window.
Yeah.
And I yell to my fiance. I'm like, the church is on fire. And he, like, gasps, you know, like, what's going on, right? But I can see, like, the soot and the flames, and it's just the whole block is like going down in flames.
Right, yeah.
Wow. So he goes outside to go investigate. I start panic cleaning because I'm like, what if the cops come here and we have to evacuate? I don't want them to see our place a mess.
My God, Krysta.
And then I'm like, what do I grab? I gotta grab Augustus, my fish, and then what else? I don't know. My laptop, my mic.
You're actually in an evacuation situation. You're not supposed to grab anything.
I mean, I could grab my podcast bag. It's all in one thing under the stairs, and Augustus is right by the door. Boom, boom, good to go.
Fair enough, but I'm just saying.
I know. If it was that dire, I would not take anything but Augustus.
Yeah. But yeah. So.
But it was crazy. It was pouring rain. It was the night that we got. It was like a storm.
Right.
It was coming down so hard with rain. But the two houses, it wasn't a townhouse, it wasn't a duplex. It was 2 very skinny houses that were being built at the corner lot, completely burnt down.
That's crazy because I saw it on the news and they're like, "Oh, 2 houses burned down in Port William." I'm like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, and then afterwards though, I was wired.
Yeah.
Right? Like I couldn't go to sleep.
That'd be a tough one. Yeah, especially so close.
Yeah, and then our power was out, too, because the fire took down our power pole. That's what the bang was.
Yes.
So our power, I mean, also like a safety thing. I'm sure BC Hydro would have shut it off anyways.
Yep.
But the whole next day was a write-off. We were just so tired, but I needed it. I needed a day that all I did was sleep and watch soccer.
Yep. Yeah, well, you know what, and I think as we're talking about feeling ugh and meh and all that stuff, like, something that really helps are lazy days. You know, like, people say, oh, you're wasting your days, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? Sometimes your mind, your body just needs a day where you sit your ass on the bed, you lie there, you watch whatever the hell you're watching, and just doing nothing. Now, the thought could creep in your head, be like, oh, I should really be doing something. But you really are okay. It actually, I'm sure there's a health statistic somewhere that actually implores you to do a do nothing day.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, it's self-care. And
100%.
Nick, I'm such a big advocate for taking a day. The last couple of weekends have been chock-a-block full of people wanting to hang out because, the world is opening back up.
Yeah, we are facing.
I can't do it. I can't. I get overstimulated.
Yep.
And then I don't have a day to recharge. I'm like, I need my Sunday or my Saturday to just do nothing, or even my Friday night. If I don't have a Friday night, at least I'm ruined.
Well, it's true, right? Like, and that's the problem. You have 2 days of the week that you're off, and those are the 2 days a week that everybody else or some other people might have off. So that's the day you're gonna do things, because a lot of us, like, I know you work a little later into the night. It's not that easy to hang out after work. Like it's tough to not be able to have a day to recharge, and sometimes you just go wild. I know every time because it's kind of being spread too thin. You know what I mean? And like every time I get that feeling, there's a song called "Spread Too Thin." I have no idea who it's by. It was on the radio like 10 years ago, and it's always a song that comes into my head. I don't know anything about the word other than the chorus, and I'm like, oh yeah, if that song's coming into my head, I'm spread too thin.
As Nick's walking around at work, just starting to like feel like he's gonna yell at someone, that song creepily plays.
Yeah, no, I definitely walked up to somebody and they're like, "Oh, how are you?" I'm like, "Dead." They're like, "You do seem off." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. What do you think, buddy?
What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Yeah, but it's crazy. It's so hard, though. I mean, I have found things that have worked for me to get myself out of a funk. So, like you said, Nick, taking the day, taking the break, taking the breath. Yeah. But there's other things that I found that have really helped me, and I don't know if they'd help other people. But there's methods that are like meant for grounding. So if you ever have that anxiety-y feeling, I don't think this really works if you have the tired feeling.
Right.
But part of it is just like a breathing exercise and having your feet placement a certain way. And it really helps just breathing and like understanding the world and taking the moment to yourself. But there's also other things like taking your shoes off when you're walking on the grass, if you have grass anywhere. Right? It's connecting to the earth and slowing down. And I think the whole part of it is slowing down your breath and your thought, because that's when you're going a little nutso.
So kind of like a mini meditation of sorts.
Yeah, I think it's probably rooted in there somehow, and I'd be interested to learn more about that.
Yeah, kind of just that feeling of oneness where you're okay, like you're breathing in, you're not really have thoughts in your head. You're just like sitting down, enjoying the view. You're
like, I'm just a person enjoying this view.
Yeah.
If anything, this is what I am, and this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, it's always a good feeling, honestly. It really is just to, as you say, lay in the grass, or, go to a beach and just lay in the sand and.
Yeah, we're really lucky here that we have so many beaches and oceans that you can go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's, like, maybe the farthest city away from a lake is Delta.
Yeah, they're in an awkward
the lower
spot.
mainland.
Yeah, they're in an awkward spot.
Right? Because, like, there's some in Surrey. There's all over the Tri-Cities. No. Maple Ridge, Vancouver, the beach is right there.
Yeah. Now, Delta's close to the water. It's just like, it's like Pacific Ocean type of water, so it's like not really, can't really go in it.
I don't know if they have any beaches. That's what
I mean. Like they're near water, but they're not.
Yeah, it's like farmland water.
Not that kind of water.
Yeah, like if you want to go for a nice drive and see the ocean and some flatness, go to Delta.
Yeah, but if you want to actually put your feet in the sand and just enjoy it, anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do agree with that. I do agree with, just taking some time and relax. And that's kind of like, that place I go to every summer. It's just like that's where I get that, you know what I mean? Like, because you're disconnected. I think that's a real key to it, is disconnecting with the world that is, like in a phone and stuff like that. Just like almost just freeing your mind of just thoughts, like in a sense of like when you turn your phone off, like physically turn it off, you can't just look at it. You know what I mean? You can't just look and see what's up, open it, and then start scrolling. You know, it's a lot more of a step to get it going. And you're like, oh, it's not really worth it. So you're able to like focus more on. You're not thinking about like, oh, who texted me because my phone vibrated. You know what I mean? It's just like you're gonna forget that there are texts because your phone's not vibrating.
Yeah, and you're enjoying your time outside with other people too, even because at this camp that you go to, I know there's other people who are like family to you that you get to see once a year. You're not gonna waste that time looking at your phone.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, like there's people around you, there's stuff to do. So like that's where I am able to really, you know, it's almost like a recharge for the year for me. You know what I mean? Like, because you know it's usually about a week long, so you know it's like 1 week out of 52. You know, it kind of is able to reset and recharge and bring it back.
Mm-hmm. But isn't that also like why people are supposed to take time off? Like, isn't that why we get 2 weeks vacation? And I mean, I agree with the Italians. We should have way more time off than just 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I know so many people who don't take time off.
Well, it's hard because in some cases, you know, depending on your job, it can accumulate. You know, every year you don't do something, it just adds to it, so you can take a longer one. And you know, if you're maybe a full-time employee somewhere, you know, like you get, you know, every year you get, you know, 1 week off or 2 weeks off, you know, like added into your regular ones. You know what I mean?
Or
like,
you get paid out for not having a vacation.
Right. So,
and then that's like, yeah, I got some extra cash.
Right. You know what I mean? So in some cases it's good to, you know, save it up. And you know, if you know you're, you know, going to spend it on another time, you know, like oh, I'm going on this big European trip, you know, 2 years from now, you might bank some. But other than that, you should take it. Now, you can always just take time off and not get paid for it. We're talking about specifically paid vacations, which it does help.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're not worrying about anything if you get paid vacation.
No, it's nice because you're getting a whole week's pay and you did absolutely jack shit.
It's living the life.
It's honestly pretty great. But, you know, I think you're right. Like, I know it's tough. And, you know, for some people, a lot of people, they can't take time off. They, you know, the money is so hard to come by that they just can't. They have to work. And, you know what? We get that. And that's where, you know, having a job that offers paid vacation really does come in handy because, you know, you're not losing that week's pay, but you're still getting time off.
I mean, isn't it like a government BC law to get 2 weeks paid vacation after you've been somewhere for a year?
I think so, yeah. But you know, in some cases...
And if you're a full-time employee, I believe so.
Yeah, if you're full-time, but I mean, you got to be full-time. You know...
Yeah, first of all, which is hard to do.
You got to be there for a year, and, you know, because a lot of people just work 3 part-time jobs. You know? And that's tough for a lot of people because you don't get those same benefits, but... If you are able to have these type of benefits, I mean, you should. And if you can't, like, we totally understand. But if you can find a way to do it, it would be really, really, or, you know, you've saved up enough for a while, you know, it's good to take a week. And you don't even have to travel. You don't have to go somewhere to have a vacation, you know. Staycations are real and are pretty great.
And we're really lucky for where we live. Like, you can go to... like the interior, which is a 3-hour drive, and have a pretty nice vacation.
It's true. Yeah.
Right? I mean, I should take my own advice, though. I didn't take a vacation last year.
Well,
but I feel like a lot of people didn't because of COVID.
Yeah.
It was hard. You had to work because you had to keep the place going.
Wow.
Or you had a job and you felt lucky enough to have a job.
It was that, and you also couldn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. You couldn't even do a staycation, really, besides staying at your home and playing video games.
Yeah, for real, like.
And yeah, unless you're gonna do a Bo Burnham special.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that, but you're right. You know, a lot of people weren't able to do anything last year, and you know, I think especially now, like, as you know, you're saying you're in a funk and you can't pinpoint it. You could honestly just put it on the pandemic. We've been in this for a year and a half. Like, if you haven't felt it yet, you're probably feeling it now. Like, nobody's... unless you're like the best introvert ever, and this is like your life, great. But
Your life.
if you're like Krysta and I, like I want to go out and do things. You know what I mean? Like I want to go see friends. I want to travel. Like you have no idea how much I want to friggin' travel. I want to get the hell out of Vancouver so quickly. Like I just want to go, right? Like
don't know where, but somewhere.
Honestly, don't care. I just want to go. Like, and
when the border opens, zoop.
Honestly, my Nexus is coming out. We go. I'm going. Bye.
My Nexus is here.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go too.
Yeah, we're going somewhere. But
Discontinued gravy road trip.
Discontinued gravy on the road, live from wherever. No, but but that's it's a way to get out of the funk.
Yeah, I do believe in that. And I mean, there's a reason that there's mental health days too for a lot of places if you're lucky enough to get that. But I do think you should be able to call on that once a year if you really do need it without being burnt out. Like you shouldn't be on your wit's end to have to call on that day. Right? And I know it's a hard thing to admit, but if your blah or funk days are becoming more often than your good days, maybe it's something to consider. Yeah. One extra day to help you.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sure your employer is going to be like, hey, you think you're going to work better if you take one extra day off this year? Go for it.
Yep. Which honestly, it could change. It could change everything. And I know, at least for the next 3-ish months, most places should pay you for your sick days. Even if you don't have sick pay or anything, like, because there are no guarantees. You could just say, I'm feeling ill. You don't have to get a test. You may not have the symptoms, but you're feeling ill, but they should still pay you. Like, there are some companies. Now, I'm going to say it's probably going to be a lot of the larger companies that are doing that. It's not going to be your, mom and pop shop, local shop. That's probably going to do that.
The government will pay them back, though.
True. Good point. So
they actually said that. So
basically, you could take 2 to 3 days, sick days, and you'll get paid for it because nobody knows that you didn't get COVID.
I'm just saying you shouldn't take those days to go lay on a beach somewhere, though. I feel like that is, even if you're using that, for, a mental health day, I feel like that is also unfair to your employer. You should actually be using that to do the things that you need to get done or stay home and recharge. I don't think it's fair if you're going on a Mexico trip on a long weekend because you wanted those 3 extra days. There's a line, morality.
Well, that I agree with. It would be a little unethical if, you just took the time and went on a vacation. I get that. But, we're not saying you have to stay home, go to walk, don't stray too far away. Don't go, out drinking or anything, respect what you've been given.
Yeah, but like we said, go to, I maybe spoke too soon. Yes, go to the beach, put your feet in the sand.
Yeah.
That absolutely okay. I just don't mean take an actual mini vacation.
Don't.
That's not fair.
It's just unethical at that point. And if you feel that way, great. We're not gonna stop you, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't know who you work for.
Yeah, but you might be judged.
More power to you, though, because
True.
I know a lot of people who would probably do that type of stuff, and they get to do it. Great. I didn't. What do I get? Nothing. So it's fine. I'm in such a woe is me mood. I'm so sorry.
Woe is me.
Woe is me. Okay, but what are other things that you can do once you start to identify that you're in the funk? And, I think a big part for me is realizing I don't have sports in my life anymore. It's been a year and a half of no soccer.
Tell me about it. Tell me about
no guaranteed running for basically 2 hours.
Yeah, for real, honestly. I think if you've identified that you're in a funk and you're like, I'm in a funk, try to find something that you maybe haven't done in a while. You know what I mean? Like, oh, maybe I haven't, played video games in a while. Why not turn it on and play a little bit of video games? Because, it could help, going back to that something. Or, as you say, haven't played soccer in a year and a half. You know what? Grab a ball. You don't need, 9-a-side to play soccer. You can shoot a ball into a net by yourself.
I know, but the fields are so crowded here, Nick.
I know.
I live in the burbs
I know.
now. They're
They do
crowded
get
with
very crowded.
children and like actual like practices because they're allowed to do that.
Right. But my point is just find something that you haven't done in a while. Maybe you haven't knitted in a while. I don't know. Maybe you haven't got your Starbucks Frappuccino in a while and you want to get one and sit on the patio or something. Just something you haven't done in a while. Like you think to like, you know, because that one thing could have been the thing that's kept you, you know, grounded, right?
Yeah, that is so true. And there's other things in your life that I think that can keep you grounded, like even maybe like eating habits, right? Like, do you ever get that feeling after getting McDonald's? And you know,
yourself.
sometimes if you really haven't had it in a long time, you're like, this is so good.
I never.
But
yeah.
but if it's your third time this week, you're like, ew, I'm disgusting.
Yeah.
I hate myself.
Yeah.
Type of feeling too. And then you just feel it kind of puts you into a funk after that. It's because A, the grease is not good for you. And B, you're talking down to yourself because you're like, I can't believe I'm doing this for the third time this week. I'm going to feel like crap. So, yes, you're going to probably feel like crap.
Right, yeah, but at least you'll know.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? I don't blame people for who do that. I've done it myself multiple times. Where else can you get a full-blown meal with a drink for like $6?
True, it's true, but, you know, moderation.
Yeah, moderation type of things.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying go completely green smoothies,
Oh, God,
green
no.
juice.
Don't do that.
I mean, I like smoothies and juice, but I do like my occasional grease.
Gotta have it every once in a while. Every once in a while.
Gotta keep the wheels greasy. Yeah. No, but it's so hard. I think everyone knows in life what are supposed to be the things that make you feel good, right? Exercise, eating right, going outside. Why do we not do that? Why is it so hard?
Well, it's interesting, right? Like, you know, something like going outside, you know what I mean? Like, it's honestly not that bad. Now, I'll admit, like, going for walks is kind of boring. Not gonna lie. You're just walking. Now, a lot of people find it satisfying. I just think it's boring. Unless you're with somebody. That changes the game entirely. But if you're doing it on your own, like, even if you have music in your ears, it's just not the same. Like, so like yeah, but it's you know, just getting outside is really handy. Like today, you know, I was you know thinking, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend all day in here watching TV, which I easily could, but I'd rather not. So you know, I just went on a bike ride. Just went out.
Sounds lovely.
I just went out for an hour. That's all I did. An hour.
That's still really good. An hour. That's a pretty big bike ride.
Right, but
I thought you were gonna say like 20 minutes.
Oh no. But just my point is, like, all it takes is an hour. It could even take 20 minutes. Bike down to the store, grab some chips to watch TV later. like you can do it. You can do it. But honestly, just getting outside can help do these things. Help with these feelings.
Yeah, but I wonder what the psychology is behind it, you know? Like, I know so many people who struggle with that. And what that drive is that people need. I'd be interested to learn more. If anyone has information or links, please send it to me because I want to understand that a bit more.
You should probably get a psychologist on the show.
Yeah, some sort of counselor or something. Just so to inform me because I want to know. I want to know things.
We want to know how to get out of the funk. If our ideas did not help you.
Yeah, exactly. And if anyone has their own recommendations or ideas of how they get out of the funks, I would love to hear it. Please let us know.
Honestly, it would be cool to know. We'll even mention them on the pod because we always will.
Yeah, I mean, we always have a little recommendations.
You know, every time we end the show with that, so.
You know, we could slide it on in there. It'd be an easy peasy deal.
It would be very, very, very easy to do that.
I don't know. I feel better now though. I feel like I'm getting out of the funk just by talking about it a bit. It like lifts the gravity of the situation off of it.
You know what? That's a really good point. That's another idea. Just talk about it with somebody. You don't have to have a reason for being in the funk. Like, you can just be like, oh, I'm in a funk right now. Like, oh, yeah? And they might ask, like, oh, well, like, what's got you in the funk? And be like, I don't know. Most people are just going to be like, oh, that's fair. I mean, like, you know, it's fine. You know, like, just mentioning it to somebody and having a conversation, which could go into a normal conversation, will really help you, you know, get your mind off the funk and maybe get you out of the funk.
And I mean, even just like a validation of your feelings, you know, like I think everyone makes it such a big deal in their mind. Like, oh man, I'm a piece of crap for not doing this.
Yep.
Like, I'm in a funk,
Yep.
blah, blah.
Yep.
And you say it out loud, and someone's like, yeah, same. You know what? That, yeah, same is that little glimmer of hope. It's like, really? You too?
Feels.
But you're so put together.
It's true.
It is true. It is true. And it's just so interesting to me.
No, I agree. It's a very interesting thing, just being in a funk and then subsequently getting out of the funk.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can all do it, and I'd love to hear about it. But I think it's time for the next part of Discontinued Gravy.
What's that part?
You want to know what that part is?
I think so.
Questions of the week. I peeked really hard there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did.
Nick, I gave you full permission just to cut that part out and just to have your voice really low, be like, questions.
No, it's gonna be in there.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a great time
It's gonna be
for
good
everyone's
time.
little ear holes.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready?
Wow. Born ready. Love this segment.
Born ready. You hear that, folks? Okay. Dear Nick and Krysta, what do you recommend for the people trying to get a vacation this summer now that the ban is lifted, but all the Airbnbs are booked? You know what? I've noticed that.
I mean, I'll admit, I haven't really delved too far into Airbnbs. Like that's not something I've done. Because my last vacation, Airbnb was still kind of new and nobody really trusted it yet. I would look into the hostel life. On my last trip to Europe in 2016, that's what I did the whole time.
Okay, but what if like local trips? Like, we're not actually allowed to travel yet. And I would not recommend doing the Vancouver hostel.
Yeah, it's
it looks
weird.
Dingy.
Like, I know of two, and I don't even know if they're hostels. They're really friggin' creepy.
Right? And it's like the guys, the European hostel scene is nicer than hotels usually.
Honestly, they're like $7 a day. It's fantastic. But I guess if you're okay, so we're talking local here. Now, are we talking about lengthy stays or like, you know, day trips or like I
don't know. This person didn't say, but for my own satisfaction, let's say like a long weekend.
Okay.
It's a good enough time. If you didn't request time off, though, it gives you something to look forward to.
Okay. Well, there's camping if you're into that kind of thing.
Good luck getting a camping spot. Have you looked, Nick?
I said you can try. You know, I just yeah, I mean, like, just keep looking, you know, keeping tabs on the Airbnbs. If something's gonna pop up, you know. I mean, even potentially, I know it's probably quite a bit more expensive, but sometimes hotels will throw a really good deal at you to get you away from that Airbnb. You know, like
especially right now because things are opening back up and they want people to stay.
And you know what? A free breakfast is nothing to shake a stick at. You know, like
Shake a stick at.
Like it's just keep your eyes open, and you know, like there are things close by. You know, Whistler's a thing. Even just staying in Squamish. You know, just like.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking try to do an unconventional area. The places like the Okanagan, Penticton,
Love Penticton. Love.
the Sunshine Coast. All those ones are going to be booked.
True.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've looked. My significant other and I, he said, book whatever you'd like. And I was like, no, I need help because they all suck. So I understand the situation that you're in right now, but I haven't tried looking at the weird places like Gibson's or Galliano. I don't know. I've never been to those places.
BC.
They're not they're not weird places, but I don't think they're as popular as when you say, "Oh, I'm going wine tasting in in Kelowna."
Well, I mean, Gibson's is on the Sunshine Coast, and you're like 20 minutes out of Seychelles.
True. So maybe I'm giving bad advice. I'm not quite sure, but I feel like the Tofino, Whistler, and the big ticket items, maybe unless you're willing to shell out some money, maybe look for the little small towns and get away. You know what? Support local. Maybe you're gonna find a really cool spot. Let me know about it, and then I can go.
Yep. But actually, that's a good point. You know, like a lot of people are like, I need to be in the city, but you know, if you're 10 minutes outside the city. A lot of people don't book there. Pro tip.
Yep. And a lot of times if you're in the area and you're driving there, at least you have a car, so you're going to get to all the cool places anyway. So you're good to go. You're golden.
This is true.
Perfecto. Are we on to the next part?
Okay, do we not have any more questions?
I mean, I feel like we're good.
Okay.
I only picked out one because I didn't know how much time we are gonna have today. Sorry guys, I didn't give it a real gander.
Next week. Next week,
I'll hit you.
Yes.
I'll hit you up.
Yes.
Okay. Recommendations of the week.
Recommendations of the week. We recommend things, and you do those things.
Or pretend to do those things.
We'd rather you did them, but to each their own.
The fact that you're lying enough to make us think that you're doing them, I'm honored that you're putting that much effort.
Sure, it's handy.
What you got for us this week, Nick?
Okay, so I was watching through TV. I'm like watching Family Guy right now, but I'm kind of there's a lot of Family Guy, but so I kind of watch a few episodes and I bounce out to another show. I was watching Gravity Falls, but that ended as greatly as it always does.
The ending is not that great though. It ends on a cliffhanger, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
Oh my god, maybe I need. Oh wow, I need to watch the last episode.
Dude, no, it ended.
We'll talk about this off the pod.
It ended perfectly. What are you talking? Anyway, so I was kind of scrolling around Disney Plus and just being like, what's there to watch? And there was a show I stumbled upon that I'd seen season 1 and I was waiting for season 2 to come on Disney Plus because they still have live Disney Channel, on the TV. So I think it comes on Disney Plus after that's done.
It's the worst marketing tactic to bring things onto Netflix or their streaming service weekly as they come out onto TV. It bothers me so much because it's like you said, Nick, you forget.
Right.
You forget that it came on.
But Disney Plus didn't even do not for this show specifically. They waited until it had played in its entirety on TV, and now they put it on.
Okay, I give them that. Yeah.
So anyway, I was going. I clicked on. I'm like, well, maybe I want to watch this again, or maybe because I've been waiting for season 2. Season 2, I don't know when it came on, but it came on. I noticed it today. So season 2, and you're gonna watch a show. It's called Amphibia, and you're like, the fuck is that? It's like,
yeah, I'm nervous.
It's okay. So it's a Disney animated show. I will say it's similar to Gravity Falls, but it's not at all like Gravity Falls. I don't really know how to describe it. Basically, there's this girl who is voiced by Brenda Song, London Tipton.
She had a baby with the guy from Home Alone.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, so basically she gets shipped, her and her friends open this case thing, and they get sent to this frog world. That's frogs are like people in this world. And basically the story follows her because all the friends get separated. The story follows her and how she adapts to this life and goes on adventures, to try and get back home. Season 1 ended with them getting to an area and meeting one friend, but they haven't found the other yet, and we don't really know how all of it ended. It was kind of like on a real big cliffhanger, being like, well, what's going to happen now? So anyway, really good show. Like I said, it keeps you drawn back like Gravity Falls does. Like, I really enjoyed it. Season 2's back, so I'm watching all of season 1 again just to, get back in the loop and go right into 2. But recommend it. Amphibia, really good show.
Wow. I'll have to give one episode a watch at least.
Watch past the first episode.
Mm-hmm. Nick, I trust your Disney recommendations. You have great Disney taste.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Like, even the High School Musical, the series, I laughed at you.
Yeah, you did!
I laughed, and I was like, no way, Jose. This is the show I watched on Friday night when the guy up there, he decides to play video games, and I have nothing to do, and I just want to laugh. It makes me laugh my ass off because they're such dumb little teenagers.
It is a fad.
But they're actually playing their age, and I love it.
So good. Such a good show.
So good. So good. But that's not my recommendation for the week for you guys. My recommendation actually has to go off of what we talked about today about how we're getting out of a funk. I didn't suggest it as a way to get out of the funk. So I'm using it now.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Oh, okay.
I did it tonight. I had dinner on our patio. It made me kind of happy just to sit in the sun and eat some yummy food. And I know not everyone has a patio, but most people, if you're living at home, you have a backyard. If you live in an apartment, you might have a patio, a small one. It might not be big.
Yeah.
Just sit on it and eat some food. It's real nice. Sometimes you forget that you have it.
Patio season is the best kind of season. Absolutely great recommendation because, even if you're going to a restaurant sitting on a patio or, like you say, you have it at home or, maybe your home has one of those patios that is like this wide and you can't really do anything on it, but you open the door, you put your chair right by the door, you get close enough to a patio type of style thing. But that's a great recommendation. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Heckin' good stuff. I highly recommend.
Yeah, so sit on a patio. That's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, that's all we have for this week, folks.
We'll be back at it again with more Discontinued Gravy next week.
Talk to you later.
Peace.